Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
We're back at it and brought to you by Seat Giants. Stop paying U.S. dollars for games and concerts. Canadian-owned and operated with Canadians in mind. Super Bowl, college football, Taylor Swift. We've got it all. Use promo code RPShow for 15% off now at checkout. SeatGiant.ca. We're going to Jersey now to chat with our good buddy, Jim Biringer in Jersey. Jim, I got two topics that could roll us right through this whole segment. So I know you're ready. I know you'll be great with it. I'm asking whether we're tired of the Chiefs and Eagles, the Chiefs period, is one thing. But what is our dream Super Bowl matchup? Let's say for next year in San Francisco.
Ooh, I think if it's in San Francisco, I think you're going to want the 49ers there. Have the home team there, playing there, similar to what we saw when Tampa was there, when they won the Super Bowl on a home field. So 49ers and Bills for me next year in San Francisco. I would like that one. For me, especially the Bills. I mean, they've been the bridesmaid for how many years in the 90s? They're coming up short to Patty Mahomes now. Feels like Josh Allen and the Bills are right there. So, that to me is the dream Super Bowl. And as always, love being on the show, Rod. And thanks for having me here as we talk Super Bowl this week.
Yeah, well, not a lot. You're more hockey. But it's just funny because Bob writes in from Saskatoon. He says, Western Canadian NFL fans would want Steelers-Vikings. It's just funny how many different opinions there are. I mean, how far from where you're sitting right now is MetLife Stadium, the home of the Giants and the Jets? And you didn't even mention them.
Probably about 20-minute drive. I mean, there's like 3 ways from my house, maybe 4 ways to get to that stadium. So I know all the ins and outs when the Devils used to play at the old Brendan Byrne Arena in East Rutherford. It's right across the street. So to me, I think that's a good stadium. But, I mean, the Giants always being there. They've won a couple. Giants, Jets, to me, I mean, that's a kind of a regional matchup. I mean, I know people still watch it, but I think, give me the sexy names, Dallas Cowboys, 49ers, Giants, who are they playing? Are they playing the Chiefs? Like, teams like that, to me, I think that's what people want to draw on. I think there's more, regionalized Super Bowls for certain teams like the Jets and the Giants. Plus, we get it every year in the preseason with the Snoopy Bowl.
Well, it's just a fun thing to talk about. And to be honest, I had an inkling that people would glob onto this, and they have. I said my dream matchup would be Dallas, which is my historic childhood team, Dallas Cowboys, versus the Miami Dolphins, where I live. But I mean, good God. That might be at the very bottom of the odds for what's going to happen. Not happening. Okay. We can come back on that. I said we have a few topics in the air, a few balls in the air, topics on the table. Another one is Ovi's chase of Wayne Gretzky. And everybody's getting upset about the empty netters thing. And we're going to need some clarification here because Tony in Cochrane, Alberta wrote in and said that Gretzky all-time had way more empty netters than Ovi. But Laverne in Swift Current writes in and says, as of February 5th, 2025, Alex Ovechkin has scored 61 empty netters in his career, surpassing Wayne Gretzky's previous record of 56. I don't care. I'm not even going to look it up because they all count. That's where I am on this. But is it
that's where I am.
Your circles? Yeah.
I mean, that's where I am on this, too. It doesn't matter how you score your goals, right? It's not, they don't say how, they say how many. That's the old saying, right? If you're a hockey player, you know that. Goes off your knee pad, goes off your skate, toe of your skate, your pant leg, elbow. It doesn't matter. They all count. You get credited for it. Empty net goals, who cares? I mean, look, we love the goalie goal when the empty net happens. So I think you take them how you get them. 0.1 seconds left in the third period to get 17 away from Gretzky. I mean, there were a lot of people, let's be honest, going back to last year when Ovi started so slow, the beginning of the season, had 8 goals. Then they get the break. Then he goes on that tear, 32 goals in the final 23 games. I mean, and then people got excited again. And I think people are excited because they want to see a record be broken, something that nobody thought would be broken, right? And to me, Alex Ovechkin's probably the modern day best goal scorer I've ever seen play. I caught the tail end of Gretzky, but to me, he was still one of the best players I ever saw play the game. Same with Mario Lemieux. But if Alex Ovechkin's going to do it, even if he scores it on an empty netter, so what? It doesn't matter. He broke a record that a lot of people thought was going to stand forever, and it's going to go down. Whether it's this year or not, we'll see. I hope it's this year because he's on pace to do it towards the end of the season and maybe against his rival, Sidney Crosby.
Did you say Cindy Crosby? I just want to make sure.
Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby, who, by the way, has an upper body injury.
Yeah, well, known in a lot of NHL Eastern Conference arenas as Cindy Crosby. So I was just making sure that
No. You got me.
Yeah. Cardinal Ryan writes in. He says, Jersey Jim. Cardinal Ryan is in Saratoga, New York. I got to get up there sometime. I got friends from Saratoga. They tell me it's a very lovely place. But, on the Ovechkin thing, one thing that I'm realizing, I'm a lot older than you, Jim. I'm a lot older than a lot of people in this business. And I come from an era of where you just want to inform people and you want them to have the right information. These days, people, they don't care about that as much. Sad, but true. And no, it's just the way that it is. And you work in the media business with NHL Full Press. You do a great job. But I watched Ovechkin when he came through Sunrise here last year, just what you were saying, and he was not himself. Like, he mailed it in. There was no way that he was going to break Gretzky's record the way he was playing last year. Then I saw him off the ice. He was overweight. Anybody would tell, like, considerably. But then I have friends with the Capitals that said, no. He was dealing with a very serious personal issue. He did let himself get out of shape. But this summer he committed, and here he is. And I'm like, my point on that, Jim, is how many people know that? You can't sit down the whole world and have a news conference and tell them this is what Ovi was dealing with. You know what I mean? I just wonder how many people actually know that what he went through.
Unless you're really in the circles around Washington, or you talk to people you listen to or read everything, obviously, I understand what Alex is going through right now. Shout out to my dad who passed away. So I know what he's going through, personal issue, and that's something Alex was dealing with because he's made note of it publicly as well. So I understand what he's going through with that, and that can throw you off your game. Brock Vestor, similar situation up in Vancouver as well. You go through a personal issue, it could throw your game off, and you can get out of shape. You're not committed. You're thinking about other things. But he's recommitted himself to it, and I think the end of last year, that stretch that he went on, had him commit to something, and they made the playoffs. And the Washington Capitals are rejuvenated. Spencer Carberry's in there. They've retooled on the fly. They've gotten a lot younger, and they're having fun, and they're winning. And I think that's part of it. And you're seeing Ovi's youth come out. And early in his career, he didn't play defense. And we knew that. And that's okay. He was a goal scorer. When Barry Trotz got to Washington, he got him to play defense, and that's why they won a Stanley Cup. And he's still committed to playing defense, but he's still a goal scorer at heart. And he's operating on the power play. And that's where he makes his money. So it's good to see him back, rejuvenated, and playing well and having fun. And I think this is what makes it special with this chase for Gretzky when it happens this season.
Yeah, and the thing is, man, I'm so grateful that you and I have got to spend personal time together and be friends away from this perilous trade that we're in. You know what I mean? With regards to Ovi playing defense, like I have this debate with Bedard playing defense and whether he should or not. Because they came through here last week and he was getting trashed for being minus that day. And I'm like, he doesn't have to play defense. And the NHL scout that I talked to, he's like, not now, maybe eventually, but not now. And so whatever, right now he doesn't. But it's nice to be able to have a debate like this and not have people get mad. That's pretty rare. Just that you can't see their side of it. You know what I mean? I don't see you in a lot of Twitter wars. I'm sure you see Twitter wars.
Yeah, no, I see them all the time, and I've kind of refrained from the Twitter wars because it just doesn't matter. I got into some before with the JT Miller to New Jersey Devils and trying to explain to people, and then I'm like, I got to stop because no one cares. Everybody's looking to complain, and everybody's trying to make a counterpoint and just be different. And look, yes, eventually Bedard does have to play defense, but right now, let him focus on what he's good at. And let him develop different areas of his game first, like Sidney Crosby did in Pittsburgh. Crosby's like, okay, I got to be better at defense. Oh, I got to be better at faceoffs. But he worked on them in the offseason. He didn't do it all at once. He took it step by step. And I think that's what we need to see from Bedard as well. And I think that's what's going to happen in Chicago. I mean, the Blackhawks are just complete mess as it is. Organizationally, top to bottom, I think they have to figure out the direction they're going in because they have a talented player. And they got talent around them, but they got to get better talent. And I think you just take one step at a time with Bedard. But yeah, eventually he's going to have to play D. Everybody does play D in this league. That's how you win. But right now, let him focus on just playing hockey and don't worry about all aspects of the game. Eventually, that's going to have to be a factor, though.
Well, and that is a big determining factor between winners and losers and champions and heroes. Just to walk it back to the Ovi thing, I just wonder how many people knew Ovechkin was dealing with the death of his father, like you are right now. Those that can go out and perform while dealing with a personal tragedy, a personal crisis, my God, it's inspirational. And he goes, I know what you're dealing with your dad right now, and for you to come on here means a lot to me. Brett Favre, right? Monday Night Football. We all know that story. I can't remember it. Didn't he threw for like 400 yards and 5 touchdowns the day his dad died? And people are like, Brett, you shouldn't play. He's like, I'm playing. That serves as major inspiration to people dealing with tragedies to not wilt and say, I can't perform. I can't do it. Do what you want, but it inspired me. Let's put it that way.
Well, I appreciate that, and yeah, just trying to just keep everybody proud and keep going because that's what it's all about. You got to live up to the expectations, and you got to keep going strong every day, and that's what I try to do, and try to make my dad proud and everything every day. So, I mean, it's tough. Some days are tough, but guess what? You got to plow through it, and that's what these athletes have to do, and that's the mindset every day. And all these guys, these pro athletes, has got to go through something. I remember that game, by the way. I was watching that. That was Monday Night Football. I think against the Raiders. He was out Oakland.
I think that was a game
against the Raiders. It was a West Coast game. That was a big game. That was a great night for Favre and the Packers. What a game that was. Before all the mess happened with Green Bay, and then he goes to the Jets, and then he went to Minnesota and the end of his career. But that was inspirational. You see a lot of guys do that. Michael Jordan, the same thing in the basketball as well. All these guys dealing with something, and then they live up to expectations and be inspirations to everybody. So just trying to just keep it going every day.
Well, and that's the thing with me. I sit here every day taking people's opinions, and then at the end of the show, I got to wash them all off. Like Tony in Cochrane, Alberta writes in, he goes, oh, Google and AI lied to me? Sorry, I didn't research it deeper. After further review, I see it is Ovi 63 and Gretzky 56. I apologize. He wrote in earlier that Gretzky had over 90 empty net goals, and that was wrong. I don't care. And hockey people don't care. So you don't need to apologize, but thanks, because they all count. Now, lastly, since we're talking sports, but also life, I opened the show talking about the Chiefs. And that's the poll question today, actually, for EMJ Marketing. How do you feel about the Kansas City Chiefs? Love them, hate them, or indifferent? For a while, hate them was leading, and then indifference took over. But just with the hate, I was listening to Mike Florio talking about it this morning. People are sick of them. They resent their success. And again, back to me being different than everybody. I don't resent people's success. When I see successful people, it makes me work harder to win and be like them. But that's me. And I guess that's rare. How do you feel about the Chiefs' success or anybody having success, Jim?
So I had this debate with my buddy the other day when we did the nightcap recap, and I said, I can't appreciate what the Chiefs are doing right now because of all the calls that seem to go their way. And I don't want to bring the refs into all this stuff, but when every call goes your way, you can't appreciate the greatness of a team right now because it just seems like it's rigged towards them. But they have a good team, and I understand Chief syndrome, and I understand everybody's getting sick and tired of them. But that's what we love about sports, because I remember the Yankees in the 90s. Go to Notre Dame. Go to Duke basketball. There's a team out there. Whether you love them, you hate them, you're going to watch them. The Chiefs are that team in the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes, great quarterback. Andy Reid, great coach. Like, that's what makes sports so great. And that's why we want to watch the Super Bowl, and we want to watch when the Chiefs play. Who's going to knock them off? Right? Was it going to be the Bills? Was it going to be the Ravens? Is it going to be the Eagles? Like, that's what makes sports so good. Look, to me, the Chiefs are a great football team. New England Patriots, same thing. You want to see who beats them. That's why Super Bowl is going to be rated as high as it's going to be. And am I tired of the Chiefs? A little bit. Yeah, I'd like to see somebody different. But again, till you beat the champs, they're going to be around. Look, Jordan and the Bulls, 3-peats twice. Probably could have done more than that. Were people tired of the Bulls? Maybe. But guess what? No one could beat them because guess what? Jordan said, not today, not on my watch. And Mahomes is doing the same thing right now.
And I love seeing it. I love seeing it. I celebrate success. I don't hate it. Okay, Jimmy, great job, bro. Great job. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and thanks for coming on with us.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me. Enjoy the Super Bowl, Rod, and take care.
Jersey, Jim Biringer joining us from, you guessed it, New Jersey. It's viewer takeover the rest of the way, plus a sports update. So on the Progressive Insurance text line, write us now, 902-518-3033. What's your dream Super Bowl matchup? Do Ovi's empty net goals matter in the pursuit of Gretzky's record? CFL salary cap going up 10%, very huge red letter day in the 3-down leg. It's a great day. We'll be right back here on Game Plus Television. Streaming live and, of course, podcasts wherever the best podcasts are found.